Filipina-British nurse was conferred the British Empire Medal for her outstanding service. Joining us now live from London, we're speaking with Senior Global Health Fellow, National Health Service in England, Louie Carullo Horne. Louie, congratulations on this latest recognition.
Thank you, Rico. It's been overwhelming, but thank you very much. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Louie is joining us from Suffolk in the UK. What does it feel like to receive this recognition and representing the Filipino nurses in the UK?
Oh my gosh, Rico. I'm still up there. Yung feelings ko, nandun pa. Because Rico, I come from a very humble beginnings. So it has a huge personal significance for me. And, you know, who would have thought? I call it who would have my thought year. Because who would have thought that I'll be honored by the king and be given a medal? But, you know, I take it and I enjoy it. And it's a reflection of the impactful work that the Filipino nurses are doing in the UK. So 23 years nursing here, and I'm very, very proud that I can actually motivate the other nurses as well.
Wow,
to aim for the same.
What a dream come true for anybody. For you to meet and speak with King Charles. I mean, you've worked for the British National Health Service now for decades, as you mentioned, and many will always remember the Queen because she did so much for the country, a solid rock for all British and NHS for 70 years. How supportive has King Charles been for Britain's Filipino nursing community?
So it was, sorry Rico, I didn't hear that. Can you...
How supportive has King Charles been for the NHS and Britain's Filipino nursing community?
Oh, so he's very supportive since he's been a king. So first of all, he extended an invitation to us, British East Asian nurses, in February. That was the very first time that I was inside the Buckingham Palace. And secondly, on his 75th birthday, he invited over 400 international nurses, and about 20 of them are Filipinos. So he is extremely supportive. And kilala niya na kami kasi tuwing makakaharap niya kami, he knows already that there's 48,000 Filipino nurses in the UK. And paulit-ulit kasi namin yung sinasabi kasi we are the largest for the last 10 years, the Filipino nurses in the UK.
Wow, 48,000 Filipino nurses, and I'm sure when he sees you once again, he will say, "Hi, Louie, it's wonderful to see you again at Buckingham Palace."
Yes, Rico, and I'm invited again. I shouldn't announce it, but it's you, so I'll say it. I'm invited to the Buckingham Garden Party this year.
Wow.
So they normally they tell you that you will be invited para ma-clear mo yung diary mo. So they already told me to clear my diary most of August and July.
So, Louie,
so I'm going back there for the third time.
Wow, you're going to Buckingham Palace. Can you add a +1? I will fly to London and I will join you in that Buckingham party, in that Buckingham Garden party. So, 48,000 Filipino nurses. Tell us, what major contributions have Filipino nurses made for the UK's national healthcare system? What would be the top 3 and top 5 contributions?
So we've been coming, Filipino nurses have been coming to the UK, Rico, since 1959. So can you believe it? So 1959, so 54 years. And it's only in the last 2 years that we're being recognized. So ang contribution natin to the NHS is so much because first of all, I don't think the NHS will stand without international nurses. And being the largest workforce ng international nurses, which are Filipinos, so we are very impactful and we are very important. And I think this is what our international nurses, our Filipino nurses should actually think na they are important. Kasi sa dami, syempre may mga challenges yan. But this is why I'm really glad that you're covering this para makita nila na despite all the hard work that they're doing, they are contributing so much. We are giving the best care possible. World class ang tawag sa ating mga Pilipino, ang lalo-lalo ng mga nurses all over the world. And I'm very glad that the UK government and the royal family are actually acknowledging that contribution. So continuous tayo, maraming dumarating na mga Filipino dito, and they feel pride in being included and being considered to be given a seat at the table, where important decisions are being made for us. So kasali na tayo sa mga decision making, especially two of us, Jen and I, have been in the national team. So nalalaman na nila how it is to be a Filipino, what happens to us when we arrive, and all of that. So it's a very positive and progressive, addition.
And as you say, tens of thousands of Filipino nurses have been successful in the UK, but there are challenges. What more needs to be done to help the plight of our kababayans there?
So despite, me, May, as you know, and lots of Filipinos are being acknowledged, there are still large percentage that are struggling, like you said. So what needs to be done is, thankfully, we now have, since the pandemic, 3 huge organizations here, which are composed of very senior nurses. So we have the Filipino Nurses Association UK, we have the Philippine Nurses Association UK, and now RICO, we have a very senior group of FSNA, we call it, so Filipino Senior Nurses. And again, all these organizations are being asked for advice by the National Health Service and the private sector as well, which is the nursing home, which is napakadami ding mga Pilipino. So those are the things we are included sa mga decision making. Well, we advise them, and then we tell them what are the conditions na nahihirapan yung mga Pilipino, like yung mga tirahan, accommodation here is very expensive, as you know, and yung mga discrimination is still happening across the country. But kaming mga organizations, we do it as part of our charity work. So at least about 100 senior nurses, we come together, we're a very strong group, and if there's anything wrong doing or anything that we hear, we go there, we go to that trust or the hospital, and then we help them by talking directly to those people responsible. So those are the things. At kailangan nating i-highlight ang mga magagandang bagay na ginagawa ng mga Filipino, not just the bad ones, so that it's an even reporting.
Yeah, of course, there's pros and cons, no?
Yun ang dapat marinig ng mga Pilipino.
That's right, there are pros and cons. But of course, one of the cons is the turnover of Filipino nurses and Filipino nurses here in the country. The dream of every Filipino nurse here is to work in the UK, to work in Singapore, Canada, the United States, and in other countries. What is your advice for Filipino nurses here who have ambitions of working abroad? Should they not settle down here first in the country and help our kababayans in the country, especially the Philippine healthcare system, rather than think of themselves working abroad?
Rico, that's a very important point. So when I first work as in the Philippines, I really want to stay in the Philippines. I don't want to go. But it was very difficult then. That was 23 years ago. But the conditions now are better in our country. As far as I know, magaganda na yung mga sweldo. And I was already working. I worked already for 4 years sa Pilipinas bago ako umalis. Whereas ngayon, ang mga nakikita ko, because I was there as well interviewing, nurses to come to the UK. Yung mga na-interview ko, Rico, they come out of universities. Wala pa silang mga experience. And I feel that that's when they struggle here. Wala pa silang mga experience, and then the expectations and the realities are very different. So that's one of my advocacies here. So pag dumating sila, I do an induction, and I really tell them that the possible things, the good, the bad, and the ugly, na ma-experience nila dito. And once they struggle, we are still there. I'm still there to help them. So even now, I have around 500 nurses that I personally kind of, look after and mentor. So I've mentored a lot as well of nurses who are now in the senior position. So yun ang giving back na ginagawa namin. I think that's one of the things, that's why I was given the honor. They mentioned my mentoring of so many Filipinos as well.
You are
and
indeed,
of course, not just me. Maraming nagme-mentor. Hindi lang ako.
You are indeed, Louie, a role model for many Filipino nurses here and abroad. Congratulations on the British Empire Medal. Louie Carullo Horne joining us from Suffolk in the UK.